How you doing?
Good, good.
So look, hi, my name's Howard. I used to sing in Acid Rain, UK thrash band. Then I was a stand-up comedian for 25 years.
I know you, man.
Oh, you
we've been
remember?
around the block. We've been around the block.
That's one way of putting it, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, and you, dude. It's been quite a while. I mean, the world was normal last time I saw you. Um, and yeah, quite a lot's gone wrong since then.
Right, yeah. But I'm very happy to be here. Is Igor with us too? Is he gonna be doing
I was
this?
expecting him, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Fingers
Let me see
crossed.
if somebody can reach out to him.
Oh, yeah, he's coming. He's coming.
Okay, cool.
Here he comes. Okay, so uh we got that horrible moment now where he's hey, great.
All right, we're all in here.
We're all
Yeah.
in here. Cool guys. Look,
What's
thank you.
up, Igor?
How's it going? How's it going, everyone?
How rude of me.
Yeah.
How rude of me getting in between father and son, of course. Hello. Honestly. No class. No class. I do apologize.
No, you're okay.
Cool, man. Well, look, it's great to see you both, and it's great to have this surprise record that it just came from out of nowhere. I don't know why I should be surprised that another Max project is coming out. You are the king of collaboration. But this is beyond collaboration, isn't it? I mean, this is like, this is two members of the same family. So, I mean, I know Max, you've worked with members of your own family nearly all your life musically. Is this the closest the two of you have worked together before?
Igor, take that one.
You want me to take it? All right. Yeah, no, I think it is personally. I've had the chance to jam with my dad before. I did bass with Soulfly.
Oh, of course.
I've done some guest vocals on Soulfly records and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Nail bomb.
But yeah, all the way as far back. Well, that too. Yeah. No, that
really?
True. Yeah. Not the recording. I did the live Nail Bomb.
Right. Okay, cool.
But what is it?
You're in your mom's stomach during Nail Bomb.
Yeah. No, that's true. So
you're literally in the womb watching the video, watching the show.
Wow.
Yeah, but no, this is definitely the first time we just started from scratch, started from nothing, and built something out of it, so it was cool, it was amazing to get to do something like that. I think it's a one of a kind father-son album that hasn't been done before,
I would completely and totally agree with that. Yeah. I don't think there's any father and son team who've got close to it though. And it's funny we should mention Nail Bomb because right from the off, I'm same age, if not older than you, Max. And to me, as soon as I heard it, I was like, this reminds me of Nail Bomb. Like updated, just that, that total, right, okay, whatever it is, just get it down kind of vibe.
I think it has the intensity and for sure the fuck you all attitude that Nail Bomb had it. It was like shooting at all directions. Of course, Igor did the live version of Nail Bomb, so we really click on that area. He was doing all Alex's vocals, but this was way much beyond that. I think I love the whole process. In fact, I think the writing and hanging out with Igor was the most fun I had in a long time. I joke about some father and son has project like building Legos or going camping or
fishing,
playing or go fishing. We made a metal record, but it was fun. It was like the whole process was really, it saved me because I was going nuts with the fucking, the zombie apocalypse, so it was like, I need to be saved. And the go ahead and die is like my savior.
And what is and what a Yeah, what a time to find, music is your savior again.
Right. Yeah. And it's there, man. It's there. It was a, I'll let Igor, he can probably talk more about the process of the writing, but it was a lot. I had really really enjoy, look forward to go there and jam. It was an amazing record to make from start to finish, because from thin air there was nothing there, and we built this whole crazy protest riot, anarchy, metal punk, nostalgic caveman metal.
That's not going to fit on the sticker, Max.
Right. Yeah. that's for the inner notes.
Yeah. That's the whole cover. That's the whole cover.
Yeah. Just all that. Just put it in the back of the shirt.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Extra large. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was reading about how you guys put this together as well, I was kind of like, yeah, man, there's a book in here, There's like, there's and is there any video? Did you capture much video of, like, the making of or the writing of, or was it one of those things where it's like, do you know what? Let's just focus on the music. We don't need to be kind of documenting this. Let's just focus on the music.
We focused really hard, for sure. But there is footage. A couple of times I'd have my wife come in and she'd take some photos. She has a GoPro and stuff like that. So she'd take footage. My mom, Max's wife, would come in and film as well. We did some in the studio footage and stuff like that. So there is some type of chronological, like, documentation to it, but not a ton. It wasn't every day we were filming and doing that. We'd maybe most days, actually, I think we'd wrap up and then towards the end come in and get some stuff of what we kind of cooked up that day. Like, I think they even shared like, there's one of a demo of El Cuco and a demo of Roadkill, which are songs from the album. So there was some documentation, but we definitely focused as well.
Yeah because it comes across, it came across a little bit like Evil Dead,
Yeah, no,
going away to this cavern and and the cabin and, like, summoning up the demons of metal.
Totally.
That's awesome. That's a good way to look at it. I never thought it like that, but that bungalow studio, it was like 110, like almost like 45 degrees during the day jamming, so we were like pouring sweat, angry. Caveman rips coming from everywhere,
From every pore.
From every pore. There's like we were like, me and you were like two cavemen discovering fire for the first time. Fire, yes, fire. Summoning. But I like the Evil Dead analogy, whatever it's called. It feels like a cabin in the woods, but it was in the desert. So it's like it's a remake of Evil Dead, part 2.
Yeah. It is the metal. Well, look, you're talking to a guy. We had a song about Evil Dead on our album that came out in 2019, which, funnily enough, I tried to get you to do a backing vocal on, but Gloria, I emailed Gloria and I told her the story of when we met last time, and you were saying, like, oh, I play on loads of stuff. I'm just a metal slut. And I was like, well, come and play on our record then. And you were just like laughing, going, yeah, sure. So I emailed Gloria and I was like, you see, he said he would.
He said he would.
Yeah. And Gloria just emailed me back and she was like, that's a really funny story. He can't, but thanks for emailing.
He can't. He's the busiest man in metal, I say.
Yeah, right. Maybe in the future we can cook up something. We can make part 2 of that.
It was perfect for you, but I'll send you a link to the old song. But anyway, that's as it was. When I was reading about it, it was like I just had these visions. You know what it's like if you read something that's interesting and engaging, you start picturing it in your mind. And I was reading about the making, that how you recorded this album and everything, and it really started to create, like, those images of, funnily enough, initially the Evil Dead cabin in the woods, but also just like, two people away from everything, essentially off the grid in the middle of a pandemic. I mean, and just creating something from nothing. in the harshest of environments where nothing is born out there, you know, everything dies in those temperatures.
No, not even the Wi-Fi was working good. You know, we had kind of shitty Wi-Fi, but it didn't matter. We were committed to make something fun, because at the end of the day, this record to me is all about just the pure enjoyment of playing metal without any bullshit. You know, you take away all the politics, all the drama, and you just it's like going back to your 15-year-old soul and in a garage, you know, and just playing for the pure fun of it. And I kind of like really clicked with Igor on that, and we did everything, all the riffs together, programmed drum machine, sing it, and wrote the lyrics. So it was really a lot of fun. And then we had a routine of doing that, listen to music during the day, getting inspired by all our favorite bands, Discharge, Celtic Frost, you know, Entombed, and then jamming. And then at nighttime we watch black and white Universal movies, you know, all the horror movies of the 1930s. So that was our routine, and that was became like what an absolutely amazing journey to make this record. It was I want to keep making records like this. Was this the right way to make a record?
It sounds like it's captured a sort of a piece of time, you know, this incredible kind of little, you know, sort of time capsule where you kind of just disappeared and made an album, you know. Yeah. And it's perfectly self-contained.
I'm curious to hear Igor, I guess, feeling towards the process, you know, what he felt about it, because I think me being older and a little bit from another era, and him coming from a newer era. So how was your feeling towards making this record? I'm being the interviewer now.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I was thinking, Max, you're doing a great job. And I apologize. So, Igor, I was wondering, we've heard Max's feelings on making the album. What are your feelings on making the album and the process more than anything?
It was tons of fun, for sure. I don't know, at least to me, every album I approach, I like to, I guess, make it an experience, give it an identity, remember it as a time of my life. So this album really, really, really encapsulated all of that. You know, from everything of the pandemic to the US election last year, like that Influencer record, and then the isolation of being out in the desert, and even us just like broing down and listening to tunes and making dinner and having breakfast together. And, you know, down to every facet of what went into making this record, it was a lot of fun. And we really approached it from a space of freedom and creativity and fun. We were really open-minded with each other, really just down to come up with music that we want to jam. And at the end of the day, that's how it was. And I do remember the experience very fondly. I remember us just cracking up so many different times, you know, like when the drum machine wasn't doing what we want, or you go for a scream and it's just a sour scream and everybody laughs afterwards. And, you know, like times like that are things that people don't know about and they don't get to see and they don't get to be there. But for us, it's what you look back on the record. So I loved it, man. I think if we approach writing like that in the future, you know, isolate heat of the summer in the desert, lots of heavy metal and punk, I think we could possibly do this again if we try it, you know?
Yeah, well, hopefully we won't need another pandemic.
That's true. Yeah, hopefully not.
Yeah. We should do the next one in the winter and go to like Siberia, you know, and be like the complete opposite, but you know, have the same effect of the weather. The weather having an effect on the album.
Definitely.
And was it, you know, when you're putting it together, are you thinking as far forward as like, you know, wow, you know, we're definitely going to record this? Did it start out as something just for you guys? Because it's like, given the environment you made it in, It's almost like going back to the garage ethos, you know, and going back to the garage and just having nothing, just music, and that's it. Does that, when you started at that point, did you think, hey, we might end up with an album here, or did you start just playing tunes and it kind of grew from there?
I didn't think we had a plan personally. We had the idea to make it extreme. We kind of had an idea where we were going to take our influences and sound wise, but otherwise we just kind of went for it. Just trying to capture some chaotic energy. You know what I mean? You know, but it is definitely it was just an idea, and the pandemic actually gave us the opening with no shows and no touring and all that.
Yeah.
We had the freedom to just take our time. But I would say at the start, we had no idea. We didn't know if the songs were going to be good. We didn't know if it was going to be fun. We didn't know what a label was going to think. You know, it was almost in a way going back to like garage band a little bit. You know, nobody knew about it. It wasn't something we'd been pushing and advertising. You know, it was totally done in secret, like hermit style. So, you know, there was no plan really. And it really did start as, let's just make tunes, exactly like you said. At least from my standpoint, you know, he might have his own view.
No, I really like the hermit style.
Yeah, hermit metal. It's a new genre.
Hermit metal.
Hermit metal with a little pinch of grunt.
Yep. You come out, you forget what society was like, you know.
Yeah, well, and that was to me, that was the fun of it, man, because you know, I started my career in extreme metal, you know, like Bastille Devastation, Morbid Vision was way ahead of its time, you know, like those records came out before Death, before Morbid Angel, you know, this is like the very beginning of, like, I think Venom was out and Hellhammer. So we were writing the like first wave of extreme metal, and to be able to go be involved in so many other areas of metal and come back and do something again like that with my son, also that's a huge part of it, like sharing you know, like my tricks, you know, showing the riffs, and then he does some amazing riffs and we build that together, and then we work on the lyrics, and it was just really pure enjoyment. And of course, when Gloria got involved, she really pushed it to, you know, she's really good with the business side of it, the politics, and so she got in touch with Nuclear Blast, and they got really behind, and they really love the record, which is really cool when your label is behind and making some really cool videos. And you know, you've been in the band, you know how it's like, you know, if you get a label that gets behind and likes the stuff, there's nothing worse than being a label that don't like your music. And I was Chaos AD. We were on Epic Records, and they were all into the grunge. You know, they wanted Alice in Chains, and we were doing Territory. You know, and they hated. They hated. It's like, I can't play this on the radio. This pretty much, like I say, this sucks. And we're all like, oh, the fuck you. We like this, you know?
Yeah.
And as a fan, I think this is the music I want to hear. You know, I like Celtic Frost and I like Discharge, and I want to put them together and, you know, create a Frankenstein thing out of Discharge and Celtic Frost and on some of the other influences. So we just, you know, roll with that, but a lot of great influences throughout the whole record, you know. So it was a lot of really, especially on the riff, which is my favorite part of it. I don't like the lyrics. I don't never like writing lyrics. So on the riff side, it was a joy to sit down with Igor and just jam riffs for hours. It was fantastic. You know, I'll do that every day. It's twice on the weekend.
and was it the same for you, Igor? How was it for you?
It was awesome. You know, I've been a big fan of the more stoner sludge side of stuff with my other bands, Healing Magic, you know, so it was really cool to finally do something in the vein of music that I started with, because I you know, much like my dad was saying, he started with like Discharge and and maybe Hellhammer, and that's kind of what influenced them. It was the same for me getting into metal. Those were very, very influential bands. So the fact that in a weird way we were generations apart, but we had the same love and the same appreciation and could make it the same vision even. I thought that was amazing. You know, it was super cool to show him that the new age and the younger kids do like the, you know, older styles, and we appreciate the punk rock and metal that came from the 80s. And we, you know, all that us young kids who are playing metal and stuff want is to have a place to do it, and just be accepted and not get put down for not being there in the 80s and this and that, you know. So like I said, this album is a bridge almost in a way between different generations, and in a weird way, once again, what we're writing about on the album, the lyrical content is very rooted in like punk social type stuff, you know. So the fact that we're sort of bridging those is just kind of amazing to me. And you know, whether it was lyrics or riffs or this or that, it was super cool to come up with extreme music for the first time. Because like I said, my other bands are in the more sludgy, groovy realm. So it was awesome to do something so extreme and just blistering.
And how was it for you writing lyrics?
I like writing lyrics, actually.
Me,
I
me
like
too.
I like writing in general. Yeah, no, it's I
Yeah.
actually I do like it. I know, you know, and by all means, if you're not huge on lyrics, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, art is open in interpretation, but I like it. You know, I actually I'm a big bookworm. I'm a fantasy and horror and sci-fi just nerd, I guess you could say.
Cool. We all,
So I'm
all
I'm
those
really big
people
into
are.
it. You know, yeah. You know, I think metal and horror go hand in hand. You know, and stuff like that. So I like lyrics. You know, and getting to talk about things that piss me off is even better. You know, it's you know, it's one thing to make angry music. It's another thing to put your words and your spite and all of that into you know, a focused thing, and I had a lot of fun with it, you know.
That's awesome, because
So,
you know, you're gonna enjoy the experience of, hopefully, of somebody coming up to you as well and saying, you know, so and so song. It's like, yeah, you know, when I heard those words, you know, they really hit home for me, as I'm sure, you know, it has happened to Max many times. You know, you've got that to look forward to.
Certainly. No,
plus
thank you.
you know, he writes books too. You know, Igor is a author of
Right.
Stephen King type books. I don't know if you like me saying that, Stephen King type, but
That's fine. No, that's the best
yeah.
compliment.
Yeah.
Definitely.
No,
That's awesome.
you're working on your third one right now.
Yeah, no, actually, I self-published two books, one called Killing My Insomnia, another one called Negative Legend. They're both like supernatural horror mystery type things. Yeah, it's just something that I love. It's something that when I got into metal, like I said, horror was a similar thing. And I'm just kind of a bookworm and video game nerd and stuff like that. So to me, like horror and the adventure and stuff like that is like the metal of literature.
Yeah.
So, you know, the two hobbies bleed into each other all the time, especially with lyrics and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But yeah, no, I'm working on another book. I have tons of ideas. That's pretty much what I do when I'm at home. When I'm not on the tour, when I'm not on the road, I just write pages, Diary of a Madman style, you know, and it's fun, you know. I just like creating, man. There's one thing I can do, I just want to leave a huge library and a huge catalog of stuff for people to enjoy that I came up with. That's my goal, I guess you can say.
That's an admirable goal as well. That is really cool. That is really cool. So did you?
You're immortal then, you know.
Oh yeah, mate. Yeah, absolutely. Did you write any lyrics together, or did you write separately?
We did it all together, right? I mean, as far as I remember,
Wow.
maybe we had ideas and we would bring them together, but just like everything else, we started with a blank page.
I really didn't realize. I thought I thought it was like, this song here and that idea there, but to actually be like working on the lyrics side by side as well as the music, that's just, yeah.
And it was great because I'll have a line and Igor, you'd be like, that's too cheesy, it's like we're not using that one, It's like, okay, I gotta dig deeper, which is cool, it's he's not a yes man, he didn't settle for anything. It was like had to be really powerful, really good, and I think that's a sign of you trying to make a good record is when you have those kind of moments, butting heads type moments, and I really appreciate that. It was, it's like it made me, like I said, I hate writing lyrics. I never liked it. I always did it out of necessity. But when you do, when something cool comes out of it, I get really pumped, so I end up writing some kind of cool chorus, like, yeah, this is great, killer, yeah. But it was hard to get to that. It was like a lot of pulling and struggling. But I just, the struggle is what makes it fun. I think, we were also making demos and screaming. At one time, I look at Igor, he's doing a scream, and his blood vessels are like just bursting out of his forehead. I'm like, Jesus Christ, we're not even in the studio yet. This is just the demo, man. Slow down.
Gotta take it seriously every step,
Yeah. So that's cool. I hope we get to put some of those demos out maybe next year, maybe a collector's edition. I would love to actually put a cassette, like a real demo, on a cassette form. But it was a lot of fun. It's the thing you would talk about it to me is really interesting. The generation gap between us. So my first riff I learned was Heaven and Hell, which is quite advanced riff to learn. And I think Igor, one of his first riffs are probably like Celtic Frost or Napalm Death, right? So
probably like into the Crypts Arrays. Dun, 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 dun. Two notes or three notes or something. Great.
So it's so cool to know that he appreciates the roots of where all this extreme metal comes from, but there's also a nod to new stuff, like getting Zach on the band, the drummer. He plays with Black Curse, which is a completely brutal record. Like the first time I heard it, I was like kind of like, what the fuck is this? This is it's one of those albums, like when you heard Scum for the first time, you just went like, this is the end of music as we know it.
Yeah.
You get that feeling. So me and Igor, we love that so much. Like we need to try to get this guy in the band. Like we love the Black Curse, the record a lot. And of course, Arthur Risk was involved in the Black Curse, so we got Arthur to mix the record. So that's where that nostalgic sound of feels like it came out in 1987. It's like even the grind dirt of it, the sounds not being like digitally perfect. It's a little bit fucked up. The drums slow down a little bit. The guitar goes a little faster than the drums. That's brilliant, man. That's like, the real thing, humans playing metal, not the machines, not Pro Tools and click tracks and shit like that.
Yeah, it was recorded off the grid. It was written off the grid and it was recorded without a grid.
Yeah,
right.
Basically, best way to put it.
Yeah. So you're literally off the grid. But it has that feel as well. It has that, organic. It's the only word for it. It has that feel that it's something's just. I don't know about you, but I love the sound of a band where it sounds like it could go wrong any minute. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And it probably did go wrong a couple times.
You're waiting for one of us to break a string on the album or something,
Yeah.
It's that natural feeling and
it's like a train going off the rails, it's like, it's going, it's coming out of the rails. and you're trying to pull it.
Yeah, yeah. You can just imagine the drummer is kind of like holding on, going, I don't know, I'm not quite sure.
He's falling off a cliff.
Falling off a click. You've come up with something there, definitely.
Because if you would have Pro to and quantize and click track to this record, it would have killed the record. It would have destroyed the soul of the record.
Yeah,
I totally think that. So in order to capture that feeling of that came out in the late 80s, it had to be done like this. Like we did those records like that, you know.
Yeah.
The early stuff. I'm sure you guys didn't really use click tracks on your early stuff, you know, 89, right? That's where the
it was like 88, 89. Yeah. I mean, you're just and complete with a desk the size of a building.
Yeah, definitely.
But when you want to do a mix, you've got to have 3 people at 3 different places in the desk so they can all move the faders and everything. Yeah.
The cool thing about nowadays is kind of like a lot of recordings can be done in many different places, and you don't really, even though we went to a real studio for this, I think the demos, the soul of the project was capturing the demo. And then in the studio, we just recaptured the live feeling, you know. Yeah. You know, it's me and Igor fought hard to maintain that or organic feeling. So this thing doesn't become like a super digital perfect sound. Like we don't want that, you know. It's not for this. Not for this project.
You didn't want somebody to come up and clean up the demo. You wanted somebody to take the demo and make a better quality version of it. That's it.
Capture it. Right. Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah.
In fact, when we got the mixes back from Arthur, it was incredible because he threw all these crazy delays on my voice that I wasn't expecting. and some of it was like quite bizarre, like crazy delays, like really cool, man, really cool. I love that spontaneity, and I think like in metal sometimes people forget about that, you know. And those are subtle details that make the song so cool. Even the old Celtic Frost, you know, that's priceless. Just that, you know, even if you just
absolutely
had to do, you got to do a take of
absolutely,
and you get a good and it's like it's going on the record, you know.
It's timeless.
I think we did like a 20 to 15 minutes of just screams, right? That Arthur, me and you just did like screaming in the end of Roadkill. And that was cool. That was like 2 madmen going out in the vocal booth, just screaming, nothing but screams. It was awesome.
Oh, yeah, man. No, we were definitely trying to push the envelope on how we were getting sounds and once again, of keeping it organic, not redoing a verse a million times, getting it within that first or second take and moving on to the next part. To me, I really wanted to capture that exact moment and that playthrough of the songs, you know, because that's what a live show is to me. That's what a band is to me.
Yeah.
You know, when you tour, you are not getting the exact same version every single night. You know, I think that should be obvious. So to in a way capture that on an album is hard. You know, in a way you do have to take steps to make it that way and go a little ballistic and push yourself outside of your comfort zone where maybe that scream gets a little sour at the end, but it's cool. You know, it fits with it. And maybe you hear my pick scrape the guitar on this riff in the middle of the song. And, you know, it makes it feel like we're playing, you know, as opposed to this is our music, listen to it, pick it apart. Like we're not going for that. Listen to it and enjoy it and appreciate those imperfections and things like that. That we honestly worked hard to get, you know. That's what's funny. A lot of people are like, oh, they must have not spent time on this. And on the contrary, we actually took a very fine comb to it to make sure it was raw and unfiltered and all that, you know. So I'm glad with how it came out, you know. Like he said, Arthur did a great job. Charles Elliott was there to capture it. And all in all, you know, the finished product is a really cool thing to look at and see and hold, you know. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and it's brutal, and it's also one of a record that for me kind of makes you feel like, as a listener, it makes you feel like you're kind of in the room with you guys making it. Do you know what I mean? It has that kind of. I think the fact that it's so stripped down, you know, you can, it just feels like you're in the room, you know, and you can kind of feel the intensity and the work and the love that's gone into it.
Yeah, we did a jam right before the studio, and it was the night that Zach arrived, and he had just driven from Colorado, you know, I mean, like 15 hour drive. And I thought he was tired. Like, you know, go to sleep, man. You know, you must be tired. No, no, I want to jam. I'm ready to do this. So the three of us went in a room. Man, it's pure magic, man. It was just fucking blasting, like
Awesome.
sweating, head banging. You know, and I was thinking, this is what we gotta capture. Like, if we can capture this in the studio, we got something, man. We got something. So, and then that was the task to reproduce that in the studio, and I think we did it a pretty good job. A lot of the stuff was recorded kind of live. It was the three of us in the room playing with Zach, and like Igor said, sometimes to make those imperfections, I think sometimes it's harder than if you're trying to make a perfect sounding thing. It's I don't know. It's a little bit of a mind fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, how you gonna make it something imperfect? It's difficult. It's hard, but I think we did all right. I think, you know, there's definitely a feeling I get. It's kind of hard to explain, but when I listen to this record, it feels like I'm going back in time, and this thing just came out in 1987, and it was like, fuck yeah, it's one of those records like Repulsion or Scum. You know, it's like they had this. It's abrasive, it's brutal, it's caveman, full of energy, and with lyrics like, "What's pissing you off today? This. Let's go scream about it. You know, let's do it. Let's let it all out. You know." And I think that's really cool, because in the end, a lot of the songs they're not really like about political parties, but really about human rights, about our human feelings. You know, we are humans. We want to be treated the way we treat people. So, you know, those things pisses you off, and you want to talk about that. You know, like the last video, Roadkill, had statistics about homeless people.
Yes, yeah,
and
yeah.
It's quite brutal when you read those statistics. You know, it's like,
yeah.
You know, I was talking to a friend. It's like, if every billionaire in the world just give a little bit of their greedy money, a lot of this problem would have been reduced. You know, but in the end, greedy pricks. You know, and that's, you know, that's like what the problem continues. You know, but I like the fact that we are shining a light on the subject and make people thinking. That's something that metal does very good. It's fun and everything, but sometimes you gotta think too. You know, it makes you think about the stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think metal has become more socially aware over the years as well. You know, I think, and to be honest, I think it started with thrash, but bearing in mind,
but without being preachy, you know, because you don't want that, because that's when it becomes like you're preaching, man. You know, like, so you need to. It's a fine line. You got to find like a real kind of way to do it, and I think we found really cool ways to do it with this record that highlights that. But I really like the power of it, and I remember when we did the first that became the first track was Truckload Full of Bodies. You know, it's like, I love the title, I love the name. You know, it's like, it's a perfect name for right now. It can only come right now. And it's cool because in 10, 20 years from now, we're always going to remember that title track. Or we always be connected to the pandemic.
Yes.
You know? So, which was a shit thing that we had to go through.
Yeah.
But it's cool that we put it on a stamp and we put it on a record, you know, so it's there forever, you know, it's going to be there. So it's quite cool.
Yeah, that's kind of like your that's your kind of like pandemic stamp there. It's like you know, this is what's going on in the world at the moment. So Igor, I'm interested to talk to you about lyrics, because obviously, you know, Max was saying there that you know, ultimately, you know, you're the author, you're the guy with the words. So you were working together, but did you find yourself kind of being editor as well?
Yeah, I definitely. Yeah. No, once again, the whole construction of this band was natural. Everything fell into place because that's how it worked. So yeah, the lyrics were similar. You know, I definitely took a fine comb to it. You know, it's big to me to not overuse words and to be able to use my vocabulary to portray something in a, you know, portray something similar with different words without it becoming repetitive and stuff like that. And then as of actual content and stuff, yeah, you know, as he pointed out, like it's not so much political as it is about human rights and equality and things like that.
Yeah.
Like I told one interview I was doing, somebody asked me something similar, and I just told them, I was like, if people getting killed by the police is politics to you, then I guess that's the way it is. But to me, it's about the police killing people, plain and simple, you know? So, you know, and it is as he mentioned, you know, my dad mentioned as well, you don't want to get preachy. You don't want to get into telling people how to live and this and that. But on the same hand, I do agree that awareness needs to be brought to these things so that we can exist in harmony and unity and stuff like that. And, you know, it was amazing as it was to come up with this music and to work on it and to crack up and have fun like we did. But the simple fact that it might like open people's eyes to situations like the ICE detention centers that Ice Cage is about, you know, or Punisher, which is about public shootings and stuff like that. If it opens up even one person's eyes, then it was worth it to me to write about that, you know, and it does suck that sometimes it gets misconstrued and mixed up and people get upset about it. And maybe there's a police officer that really, really loves Max Cavalera and feels different about it now, but all we're trying to do is make the world a better place. So if you look into the interviews and you talk to us as people and you get to actually know us, you'll know that the death and the destruction is only portrayed so that there might be a chance of avoiding those catastrophes or at least handling them better, helping each other, things like that, you know. So that was really important to me when it came to writing lyrics, because to me, like Napalm Death and Doom and bands like that, especially the English, like I'm rocking right now, English Dogs, you know, like I love
Quality.
bands that bring that social awareness to the surface is awesome to me. So when it came time to do this, I was like, let's go that route. Let's be like Terrorizer. Let's be like Napalm Death, and just put that middle finger up to these things that we're pissed off about. And you know, we share these ideologies. You know, he's my dad. You know, it's not out of the question for political things and world views and human views and things like that to get passed. So, you know, it was funny that a lot of things we wrote about were genuinely things we both cared about.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not about how you vote. It's about how you feel.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's really cool. And again, you know, obviously that kind of sort of unfiltered sort of approach lyrically suits the music perfectly as well, because it's like, you know, brutal music meets brutal subject matters, gives birth to this kind of like, you know, this brutal baby that you've given us all.
Definitely.
It is a death. I think it's just it's an outlet, man. You know, of aggression. You know, and from the outside, people might think that we are being negative, but not really. We're actually just showcasing all these wrongs of society, you know, that we maybe you know, like other bands have done before us, like Doom, Police Bastard, you know, that's such a cool name, you know. It's you know, and then you get Napalm Death, you know, from Slavement to Obliteration. I love that title. It's such a cool title, you know. Makes you think, you know, makes you but and that was more of Igor. Igor was really good with words, and that was like he really loved that. I was really into the riffs, man. that was my thing on this record, just the jams, you know, that just getting grind down and dirty with the guitar and going for an extreme guitar tone. That's my fun. That's like I totally enjoyed making this record. It was a pure enjoyment.
And a certain amount and a certain level of freedom that you don't that you don't have when you're making a, you know, full on, this is part of an X album deal, you know, and you've got to produce something for the label. And as much as you want to be creatively free, you can't ever be as free as you were to record this.
It's like nobody even know we were making the record. You know, that's the real freedom.
That's
it's like
freedom.
we're hermit, like Igor said, we're hermits in a cave,
hermit metal.
You know, in the desert with the Evil Dead book on the side, you know. So I loved it. You know, it's great. And no pressure of the label. We need a hit single. We need a hit song. You know, none of that, man. You know.
Yeah, they didn't even know they were getting an album, so they can't complain about singles.
Right. Yeah, and you know it's. And once you take that pressure away, it just becomes just about the fun of making an extreme record, which is a lot of fun, man. It's just a lot of fun to just delve into that, in the world of caveman riffs and blast beats and double basses and heavy parts, and so good. Well, I'm such a fan of metal. It's crazy.
Well, you were saying, you know, it felt like 1988 again, and I think this is something, you know, it's music is the soundtrack to our lives. It's, you know, it's true. You know, music can make you travel in time. You can go suddenly feel like a teenager again because of something you hear that triggers something from a particular time of your life. And I can well believe, you know, you being in that room, sweating, just going like, no, this is it. This is pure. This is the pure experience right here. This is what we need to try and somehow capture.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, it was like done in such a pure way like that is really gratifying. Like I said, like that jam, we did that jam the night before the studio with the three of us dripping pure sweat, you know, and it's like it's priceless, you know, especially because you had all the anger balled up from the pandemic, from the, you know, the apocalypse. So it's like fucking just got to get it out, you know. And it came out in the form of music, which is great, man, great. And I love it. It's which is gonna be will lead to the next thing with touring, and I love this thing to go on the road and
that was going to be my next question. Yeah.
So hopefully we can make that happen. You know, that would be really cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think this album needs to be played live. To me, as a kid who didn't get to be around in the 80s and 90s when shows were, you know, like legendary bands that I love nowadays were young and up and coming. You know, going back and watching it is amazing, but to be able to create something that gives me that same energy as a young, you know, younger person is great, you know. And I think in a way, you know, I think trends are in cycles and things like that. And I think extreme music is kind of on the rise right now. And I think in 2040, people are going to look at the 2020s and be like, wow, look at all this music that was fueled by the pandemic and the election and the police brutality and all this stuff. So, you know, it's awesome. And this brings up like the generational bridge once again of for you guys, you hear this record and you think of when you were younger or whatever, you know, first starting your bands and stuff. And I know deep in my heart that 20 years from now, I'll think of that as this for me, you know. And it's awesome to carry the torch and to keep that spirit alive and keep it going. Because, you know, we do hear it you know, we are here. You know, there are young people into metal. You know,
Yeah.
Not everybody follows the trends and stuff. We all try to, you know, there is still love for it. You know, and we try to show it and support it. And you know, I think this album is once again going to be a great way to bring older crowds and young heads together. You know, and get everybody on the same page. You know, whether you're metal or punk or grind or whatever, you can enjoy this record, and you're welcome at our show. You know, so I think once we play it live and we get to bring it to people, it's going to be a whole different monster then. You know, and I'm excited for that day.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, I think definitely. And I don't know about you, Max, but I'm not thinking festivals. I'm thinking sweaty clubs.
Oh yeah, this record is it smells like a dirty club.
Yep, you smell the beer on the floor.
you smell the puke beer stain walls of the venue. You know, it's I don't know, man. It's so perfect for that. You're right. You're totally right. Of course, if we're invited to a festival, we go ruin that too. But but mostly the underground club is where you want to experience Go Ahead and Die. You come to this show.
Yeah,
I dare you to come to this show, and it's like. Sounds like a Gigi Allen advertising, but
it's not that far.
It's not that bad.
What does it Go Ahead and Die go on between two, like, you know, two really kind of middle of the road acts, you know?
Yeah,
one in the middle and completely ruined.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, regardless of what. But I think the cool thing. Is it is part of more of an underground kind of thing, you know, and there's I think a big cool underground movement going on in the world right now with a lot of really good metal bands from everywhere, you know. Like Igor was saying, extreme metal seems to be on the rise, and you know, it's funny because the older you get, the stuff that was heavy is not heavy anymore. So, you know, it's what Iron Maiden ain't heavy for me anymore, you know. And
I know. I listen to early Celtic Frost, and I still love early Celtic Frost, but I'm thinking
it's not heavy anymore.
Motorhead.
Yeah. You compare that to the Black Curse record, and you'll be like, Celtic Frost sounds like a not like a pop band, but you know, sounds way more polished, you know. I mean, I joke the other day, I say, I think Roots would be elevator music in 30, 40 years from now. You know, hopefully I'm dead. I'm not around to see that disgrace.
Yeah, I agree.
But you know, it is funny too that you get older and the stuff is not as heavy anymore. And also I think the people ears are more used to heavier stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's easier to understand records like the Go Ahead and Die record. I think it's easier you listen to it, you exactly immerse yourself in it. And right away, you know what you're in for it, you know? So all in all, it's just going to be fun. And it's a really cool, unique father and son type thing that I don't think there's another one of this father and son projects out there. So other fathers out there listening, if you have a kid, you know, make a band, you know.
I don't know. I think you'll find Julio and Hector Iglesias, they did a single together. So, you know.
I'll look it up.
We're gonna look it up. But yeah, man, you know, it's a lot of fun. Came out of nowhere. And it's awesome. what a blast to do it, and I can't wait to bring this to the road. I think it'll be a lot of fun and get probably gonna have to like learn a couple of cover songs because the album's not long enough for an hour show.
Oh yeah, cover songs, man. That'd be and
suffer,
and you'll be able to, yeah, you can pick from like
we can play 10 You Suffers in a row, and that's like
Yeah.
About a minute.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
It's about a minute.
Look, guys, it's been awesome. Thank you so much for giving me so much time. I really do appreciate it. Max, just to let you know that I host the official Motorhead podcast, which is called the Motorcast. So I'm hoping to get you on there at some point. It's done by the label. I just present it, but hopefully want to get you on there to talk about your Motorhead and Lemmy experience over the years.
We can talk Lemmy for hours.
Yeah, I figured. I figured when your name came in the mix, I was like, that'll be a long episode.
Yeah, that can be a long one. But yeah, for sure, just hit me up, man. I'm ready to do it.
Will do.
And thank you, man. This was awesome. Really
Absolutely,
fun conversation.
It was great fun, Igor. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it, mate.
Definitely.
And if you can, I will. I'll plug it. I'll put some links in the podcast to your novels as well. And keep on going, man. I've always felt like a writer who can sing as opposed to a singer who can write. So words are, very important to me. And I really appreciate what you do. And it's going to be awesome to see how this album goes down, man. Thanks.
Yeah. No, thank you too, man. It was a pleasure, Howard. It was a lot of fun for sure.
Cool. Glad
you too, fun. Pops. Good talking.
Thanks for having us. Take
care, guys.
Take care. Later.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah. Bye.